Hey guys, so a few weeks ago I released a video showing the makeover of the entry hall and the game room. But it's not much of a game room without any games in it. So for this video, I'm going to be building a ping pong table. I'm going to start by building the table frame for the ping pong table. Now I have an old table frame on hand, so I'm going to reuse it for this project. Now this frame is a little bit small for my purpose. It's 5 feet long by 2.5 feet wide, and it is 2.5 feet tall. Now 2.5 feet tall is the correct dimensions for the height of the table, but I want to boost it up to 6 feet long by 3 feet wide. So to do that, I went out and bought 2 new 1x4s, which are going to be the new 6 foot long pieces. And then to get my 3 foot long pieces, I'll cut down the original 5 foot longs down to 3 feet and then get all my support pieces from the remaining pieces that are left. Now I really wanted the table to be really nice and stable and stiff. I didn't want it to move at all if I accidentally bumped into it. So I kind of over-engineered the table, which is alright because again, for my purpose, since I am reusing parts of the old table frame while introducing some new pieces, I wanted to use up as much of the wood as possible and not have a bunch of scrap left over. And I think in the end, I only ended up with about 1 foot of scrap that had to be thrown away. Now since the original frame was painted white and had screw holes that I'm not going to be able to use with the new assembly, I went ahead and filled all those holes with wood putty and then sanded all the pieces down. Next, just to double check that I had all the pieces I wanted and to confirm my idea, I laid them all out on the ground, made sure everything was going to fit the way I wanted it to, and then took everything inside for priming and painting. Now since the game room is directly across the hall from the gym and most of my gym equipment is painted midnight black, which is one of my favorite colors, I decided to just go ahead and paint the table frame midnight black as well. That, and I have a half gallon of it still remaining that I want to use up. Painting the table legs was actually the hardest part of this entire project because I didn't want to have a lot of brush strokes or streak marks in the legs, so I took my time on these and found the best way to do it was to stand them on end and just kind of rotate it around as I slowly did it. And they took a couple of coats before I got it to where I really liked how the leg turned out. To assemble the frame, I used a combination of wood screws and 1.25" long brad nails. I started by assembling the outer portion of the frame using a corner clamp and the brad nails. Next, I put the table legs into position and then screwed into both of the sides that were touching the frame. With the legs attached, I flipped the frame over onto its feet and then attached the board to the inside of the leg. This board was also attached to the outer portion of the frame via brad nails first, and then I screwed that board into the table leg itself to ensure that the leg could not move at all. Next, I attached one of the 3 cross braces the table was going to have. I attached it via brad nails into the pieces I just installed, and I attached it via brad nails from the outer portion of the frame. With both respective cross braces attached, I then attached another support using a board as a spacer. I brad nailed into the end of the board to attach it to the first support that I installed. Next, I attached the final middle cross support, brad nailing into the 2 boards I had just installed. Finally, I attached 2 more supports from the first cross brace to the middle cross brace. Now these supports were a little too long initially, so I had to go back and recut them, only about a blade width that had to be cut off to make it fit. But getting it in there was a bit difficult, but I managed to brad nail it into place. Now the 4 supports coming off of the middle cross brace are probably overkill, but again, I wanted to use up all the wood I had on hand, so I decided to include them as part of my plan. Now that the frame is assembled, I'm going to start working on the top. For the top, I'm going to use a 3/4 inch thick piece of MDF. Now, MDF is actually highly recommended if you want to build a ping pong table. Because of the way it's made, it's extremely dense, and the top is always going to be essentially perfectly smooth and flat, which is very helpful in making sure that the ball bounces correctly. Now, one of the downsides to MDF is that while the top and bottom of the board are going to be smooth to the touch, the sides are always very rough and porous. So to help seal the sides, I'm going to use joint compound, and I'm going to put a thin layer of it on the edges, and then I'm going to sand down any sort of uneven surfaces that I create in the process of trying to smooth it out with the compound. Now, I'm using brown paper to sand the edges of the table and the top itself. I only want to sand very lightly on the top to just make sure that there is no inconsistencies in the fibers. Now, I'm using brown paper because brown paper is actually rated at 10,000 grit. So if you're looking to sand something extremely fine and not remove a lot, then brown paper is really good at this. And that's what I wanted to do on the edges with that compound that I applied that was just meant to seal the sides. And then again, for the top, it should already be perfectly flat and smooth. So I'm just going to do a very light sanding with the brown paper to ensure that it is. Now, you may have noticed that my top is actually in two pieces of equal sizes of 4x4. This is because I had these pieces laying around the garage, and since I had no other use for them, they would do perfectly for this project. Now, the downside of using a MDF sheet off of the shelf from the store is that it's typically going to be 4x8, and an actual true ping pong table is 5x9. So this table won't be regulation size, but that's okay because it's just going to be used in a house just for fun. So I don't care if it's a little bit undersized. Now, if you intend to paint your ping pong table, what's recommended is chalkboard paint. Now, I didn't feel like going out and buying a different kind of paint for this project, so I'm going to attempt to try to use chalk paint. Now, since I'm experimenting using the chalk paint, I'm going to paint the bottom of the top first and see how it comes out. Now, this is actually the same brown paint that I used on the walls in the entry hall, but that paint is semi-gloss. So one of the advantages of turning it into a chalk paint is that it will dry and it will be a matte finish, so it will be non-reflective, which is what you want ping pong tabletops to be. And it also dries extremely quickly as a chalk paint, so it can be recoated in basically around an hour. Alright, so I like how the chalk paint came out overall, so I'm going to go ahead and flip the tops over and paint the top itself. But before I can do that, I need to mark off and paint the white lines that are very distinctive for a ping pong table. The white lines along the edges of the table are supposed to be about 2 centimeters wide, which is about 3/4 of an inch. And then the one going along the center of the table is supposed to be 3 millimeters wide. Now, I accidentally did 3 centimeters wide, which is a very big difference. So don't do what I did when it came to the center line. Now, for painting the white lines, all I did was I took my trim white paint and I made it a chalk paint as well, and then just painted several coats of it on. And then once it was done, I pulled the tape up and then taped over my white lines so that I could then paint the rest of the tabletop without getting paint on my white lines. Now, something to consider if you make your own ping pong table is if you're not going to make a full 5x9 regulation size ping pong table, you could skip having the white stripes on the table. The stripes are there for when you play as doubles, which means 4 people are playing the table at one time. And if you don't have a 5x9 table, then more than likely you probably don't have the space to have that many people play. So you really don't need the white stripes. And of course, if you choose to leave the stripes off, you don't have to have the mistake that I made where I made the stripes too big. Now, my tape job was actually really good and I didn't have any issues with the brown getting onto my white and ruining it, but of course you can see how distinctive my center line is, being 3 centimeters wide compared to 3 millimeters wide. To secure the top to the frame, I used some L-shaped brackets. Now originally I bought 8 of these, and I also had to buy the screws separately because the brackets came with 3/4 inch screws and the top is 3/4 inches, so I had to go buy some 1/2 inch screws to use. So initially I only used the 8, and although the top was secured to the table, there were some areas where it wasn't sucked down quite to the degree that I wanted it to be. So I went back and added 6 more brackets overall, and now it's extremely secure and I like how it turned out. One thing I forgot to show is I also included a leveling foot on one of the legs, so I put 3 normal soft foots on them so that it wouldn't mark up the floor, and then one of them is a leveling foot which is adjustable to make sure that the table is level, because if your table isn't level and you're playing ping pong, your ball is not going to go in the location you want it to be. Alright, so the ping pong table is complete. I've got a net on here as well, and this was a really easy project. The hardest part was just waiting on the paint to dry. This is kind of the centerpiece of the room, but I intend to add some other games in here, and a lot of the stuff I intend to build. So, stick around so you can see those projects coming out in the future, and we'll see you next time on the DIY Grunt.